to live in a big city cost a lot more. A year after the movie came out.
Really?
It was fun times.
Okay.
Yeah. How to build the perfect city. You need plenty of facilities, plenty of furniture, which nobody wants to buy. Basically, the sick and the poor will move to the big cities. I'm very kind of like attentive to every detail.
Yeah, hello, welcome everybody. So we've been seeing an increase in the rise of like this trend of like co-living and like these intentional communities with like an emphasis on shared facilities and everything. And the world seems to be like going in this nice, exciting direction of like leading this trend. And we brought one of the guys from Neom over here, whose job was pretty much to like travel around the world and like see these different types of projects. And he was like blown away. He was like, this is like the #1 project in the world that I've seen of this kind. So with that background of perhaps, us kind of currently leading the trend in the world, what would you say in terms of like being in this pioneering space of leading the future of living?
I mean, I believe that trend is maybe some 3,000 years old. Like it's the city-states in Greece and so on. So kind of like intentional communities and this kind of like co-living, I believe it's just like kind of like the antithesis to these megapolises, so where you have like this blobs of cities where you have 10, 20, 50 million of people living on really this kind of like small spaces, so where you need to stack people just kind of like vertically, like 100 floors up in the air and so on. So I believe kind of like the quality of life, maybe quality of nightlife is maybe great.
Nice.
So social but the quality of life is fairly small. Yeah. So like no, it's just like my observation. Maybe being a 30-year-old, like whatever family, father of two, like living in a big German city was like that. Clearly, big cities seems on the outside give you a lot of kind of like like services. Yeah, the biggest of all is they give you higher salaries than rural areas. Yeah, let's say like if you live somewhere in a small city, the salary is automatically smaller. Yeah, so and in big cities they pay you more. Okay, that seems like wow, it's an obvious choice. Yeah, no, so but to live in a big city cost a lot more. So at the end, you're actually getting less. Yeah. So, and then clearly, whatever the big cities seems to give, it's just literally smoke and mirrors. Yeah. So again, higher salaries, not true, because like at the end, what can you save up? People in rural areas can save up more every month or whatever. Yeah. That was just like an economical comparison. Like basically, big city lose. Yeah. So then. Quality of life, fairly questionable, as I say. What is quality of life? Having fresh air around you, having hearing the chirping of the birds or whatever, like or having a stroll in a park or whatever, like or jog. Yeah. So the big cities usually make it impossible because like the traffic dominates the car above human, in traffic, and so on. So even in terms of time management, my problem was always like, so if I spend every day 1 hour in the morning to commute to the city and 1 hour back, like it's effectively stealing 2 hours of my life every day. So like, kind of like, again, whenever you will critically rethink the quality of life in big cities, it becomes actually very bad. So kind of. So clearly they are mid-sized cities, and they are way more lovable, but the small cities are the nicest of all. But maybe again, but the small cities
lack the spice, like the facilities.
Yes, exactly. So they will lack just, or maybe even into like kind of like they will lack also on esprit, because often people living in small cities are actually like kind of like agricultural work or whatever, so kind of like they are not not your cool hyper genius people, you know. So it's kind of like so. But again, quality of life is very high. So maybe collaborative or whatever, or qualities are lower, and nightlife maybe qualities are lower. Yeah. So I mean, like so again, still the quality of life, I believe, in general, is way better than in big cities. Okay. Yeah. So then the idea, so basically around the year maybe 2000 or maybe 1995, I read about this mega trend. Basically, there's a science so-called futurism. I read about the mega trend that basically the poor, the sick and the poor will move to the big cities. Yeah. So basically all the metropolitan area become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and become literally the slum, the cloaca of the world, kind of, But there will be a anti like movement, So basically, where the elites will move out of the cities and will build their own cities, kind of like, and basically like in this like kind of like dossier, like so basically they even lined out. So basically, kind of the cities will be between 1,000 and 2,000. Head population, again, this is quite was interesting data, and then that the cities will be built around kind of like common values. This is even better. I thought like this is genius. Like wow, this is so it means you like let's say you love sports, you are living vegan life. Okay, there must be a city for you, somewhere like that will. This will be their main principles, you know. So like so and so on. And I don't know. Like imagine if for every you are a startupper, you know, you're just like a young entrepreneur. There must be a city for you. And actually, you know, all these hotspots. You know, if you look startup hotspots, and you will find even in the United States, like there are 4 or 5 hotspots. They're kind of like actually like there's a kind of a brain drain towards this hotspots. So who says you cannot intentionally create and design such a hotspot? So like by understanding your future citizens and their needs, you can and you should. We should. And this is kind of like. We were fooling with the idea, like kind of like discussing this, and plenty of parties, especially after parties. So so kind of like how to build the perfect city, how to build, who to build it for, what it need to feature, and so on. Like basically, the idea was fairly academical. So and utopian, absolutely, and again. Because like we were fantasizing about like playing with the idea, but without the intention building it for real. So I don't know, through God's will or whatever, fate. So like
flash forward.
I ended up so selling my company in 2007, moved to Bali. Kind of like while trying to find a contractor or for my private property, like I found that everything that the market was not at all. There were no players, so there no offers, no contractors, no whatever. The kind of like I decided to build my on my own devices, kind of like my property for myself. While doing it, I rediscovered my love for, real estate development. So kind of like building my home. I started building second and third and fifth, and so the project grew in size, like literally, like kind of with arithmetical progression. So every project was around twice the size of the previous project, and so on. And kind of like again, and totally now from 2007 till 2019, like basically I came to the realization that like the project's now becoming so big that that the next project will be a city block or kind of and then building it just for random people will be rather a marketing stunt. So you will need then to explain people why they should live here and so on. And I thought like, okay, then we need to change the script. And we need to build it for people, that we want, that will be living here, and that the people, that we don't need to explain or market anything to anyone, so that the people will clearly recognize the value we are building and we are offering. So the idea was born around to build a city for kind of like young families, entrepreneurs, kind of like creative people, like so like creative town. So I loved over my, as I say, like now 16 years in Bali. I loved that Ubud is kind of like maybe the spiritual heart of Bali.
Did you move here after reading Eat, Pray, Love?
No, I came actually just maybe a year after the movie came out.
Really?
It was fun times.
Okay.
Yeah. So like that was the city with the biggest amount, like kind of like disproportionate overhead on single woman on the planet. So like it was just like it was like 10 single women versus a couple.
Nice.
So like it was unfortunately I was married at the time and couldn't take any advantage of this amazing anomaly.
It's all right, 2024 is still here.
Yes, so I stayed for other reasons. As I say,
he's a very loyal man. Don't worry.
So the funny, so like why I loved Ubud from the beginning was like, as I say, this creativity, raw creativity on Balinese side, but also on export side for moving here to create, I don't know, fashion micro brands, their own furniture, product lines, whatever. Like so startups that moving here to kind of like to chill and kind of like clear out their head and and kind of like to sprint start whatever their products and so on. So there's like very, very fruitful and kind of like positive community with great vibes and so on. So this is how I experience Ubud in the most of my 16 years. Maybe the exception was the Corona time, but it was good time as well. But I'm just saying, like we started 2019. I thought, okay, every basically villa and every building in Bali is basically aimed at tourists.
2019 is when you started to start park.
Yeah. So that was the start. I recognize, I did see the problem, as I say, like basically 99% of all real estate that has been developed was always aimed at Airbnb, hotel guests, short-term stays. So, but if people want to stay longer, they have completely different sets of requirements. You know, so imagine you need proper kitchens, like I don't know, washing machine, dryer, storage space, kind of like office space. You know, the home office and so on. Kind of like you need plenty of facilities, plenty of furniture, which nobody wants to buy. Usually everything is rented,
making it turnkey,
empty, turnkey. So and also service. Nobody wants to come and stay for 6 months, but at the same time fall into routine to find a gardener, a pool man, like a nanny or kind of like a cleaning lady and so on. So basically, so the idea was like, okay. If we aim at a long-term stay, kind of like audience,
The majority of people that come here after 2 weeks and they cancel their ticket back home, they're like, I need to move to Bali.
Yes, So I did see the need of these people, because 2007 I was one of these people. So now again, the idea was like, okay, but what will people expect? And then who will live there? It's imagine like if you will build a city for Mongols, you will probably lots of horse stables and so whatever. Just like
we're working on that. Don't worry.
We're working. So yes. So no, I mean like basically every audience has a specific set of needs, and so then I thought, okay, so kind of like if we aim at young families, entrepreneurs, like kind of like startup, so basically artists, like what do they need? So we defined that clearly we cannot build one cafe, so because like after 2-3 days, that people will be fed up and will just again start driving and using their totally clogged streets, so the traffic is terrible.
Yeah, no cars over here as well.
So no cars was our first kind of like amendment. The idea was like, again, to build kind of like a city free of cars, with everything people need to spend weeks or months at a time, like in really walking distance, like the idea, like 5-minute walk neighborhood kind of like. So this should be exactly, we need to build public parks where people can do picnic on a lawn or whatever, or plenty of playgrounds. There's literally not one public playground. In Ubud for sure, like there's no city park in Ubud for sure.
We flew over the one in a helicopter and I was like, no one's there.
Funny enough, so I mean, it's sad enough. So like kind of like we needed to like reinvent what a city center looks like. So again,
let me know if I'm getting this
public
right.
pools. Everything what people will need to enjoy their life in the tropics. So like kind of, but in the same time, just amplify the good things and remove the bad things. Like we wanted to remove the traffic, the pollution, environmental pollution that traffic is usually causing, then the danger that traffic causing. So nobody, no parents, no sane parents will let the kids play on the streets in Bali because trucks going like with crazy speed and or motorbikes, like, and nobody looks like kind of like they're no one obeys the traffic law. So that's so clearly, like if someone has kids and we're the only car-free part of the city, like it's clear where they will live. So, and we are also, funny enough, again, the only place with 2 giant playgrounds, so, and several thousand square meter sport facilities for
and
kids.
Parkour for kids and a play center.
early education center and so on. So that's kind of like we cater to, as I say, young families. We cater to the needs of kind of like creative people, because plenty of like, I don't know, fashion co-workings, artists and so on and so on. So we basically, we just need to develop the goodies and the people will recognize the value. So we never spent $1 in advertising. Like I totally decline advertising. Good product and
sells
good
itself.
things will speak for themselves. So this was kind of like our start into this project.
Nice. So to replay it back to you, it's kind of like a lot of people in the Western world, they come here, they want to live in Bali, and there's like this almost sweet spot in creating cities. It's like too big, it's like you lose the magic. It's just like diluted. Too small, not enough critical mass to like actually have like the density and the geniuses and the fun stuff and the amazing shared facilities and amenities. But if you kind of get between like, at least 1,000 people, get a bunch of amazing people in there, and then have, a higher amount of shared facilities and amenities, there's some magic that really starts to happen in this space.
Yes. I see it every day. It's fun. People, it's a functioning neighborhood. So where people borrowing salt from each other, or like go together to the beach, whatever. Like I can see this in our neighbors' chats, like how people are just interacting. And like again, finding new friends, finding partners for new companies, and so on and so on. Like it's a functioning neighborhood, and we are not finished. Like again, in size. So like I think that's a self-reinforcing and rather self-accelerating phenomenon.
Park is the fastest growing real estate project in Bali.
For sure. So I think again, like as I say, a product and a good product will attract customers and people who appreciate it, and basically it's a self-accelerating living city. So it's
like the hands are off. It's like the plane's taken off. It's just like when it organically grows itself. It's like shit.
I love it.
It's cool. It's really cool. Nice. Love that. One of the things that we kind of hear is like, okay, it's actually possible to create new modalities of living. And Bali has done a fantastic job at creating like a paradise for digital nomads. And now we're starting to see like this kind of scene of like really elite entrepreneurs coming in here that are like, okay, I can actually deep work in paradise. I can concentrate for like all that I want, and I can headquarter myself in Bali as well. And there's like this new modality that's popping up, which we're starting to see, and we're pretty much really going to pave the way to pretty much provide facilities and communities and everything that an entrepreneur would want to move to Bali and just click into their Google graded headquarter office or whatever the standard is for there. What would you say to all these kind of entrepreneurs looking at Bali and they're like, is it Hawaii? And it's like, it's not Hawaii. It's something completely on its own. It's Silicon Valley. Haha.
Yeah. No, look, I believe that kind of like this kind of freelance culture and like kind of like working away from office kind of trend was slowly taking off before Corona. Corona pushed this, like, I believe in 2 years, 20 years forward. Now, the amount of kind of like people who don't want to sit in one and the same place, but rather travel and still have a great life and so on. So basically, freedom of movement is probably one of the biggest freedoms we can have. So like before the industrialization, as they basically chained us on the kind of like tools and machines, in the factories. This was maybe at the beginning of the 20th century. That was maybe like taking the freedom of movement completely away. Now again, so the tool of choice very often is a MacBook or something, or a notebook and a pen. So kind of like people are allowed to go away from the factories, and travel the world. Still, and still being productive somewhat, And kind of like it's clearly way better than to sit in a huge office, like in the cubicles. But you could sit somewhere, like on a terrace, sip a latte, and like again being maybe even more productive.
100%. My friend from Y Combinator came here a little while ago. And he was like, "Oh my God, this is so much better than a shoebox in San Francisco where no one wants to be there." One of the interesting things about San Fran is that people don't go there to live anymore. They go there for like 1 or 2 weeks to fundraise, and they go wherever they want to go back in America where they're normally from. And then we're like, okay, well, you can still go to San Francisco for 1 or 2 weeks every single year. But if you come here, you wake up, you have a nice bath, you have a workout, you meet some friends, you go hyper-focus. And by the way, you're a lot happier, a lot more creative. You can still get that deep work and the sheer amount of like hours and concentration, but everything's just higher density. So the relaxing and the active leisure and the passive leisure time, it's simply a new modality. It's simply better, and then you can do more.
I believe this is just like a change of paradigm. So like it's just like it's the old ways to live and to work and the new ways. So it will take some time for people to figure this out. But I believe this is not a mega trend; it's a giga trend where like I don't know, 5 to 10 million kind of like high value, high achievers and so on. But this high value and high achieving people have also a very high demand for freedom, so for experiences. We live to experience life, not to sit in an office. So I believe there will be 5 to 10 million people every year who will ditch their offices to go travel the world. So basically, it's a giga trend. So for some reason, we were very early, if not the first, to develop a product, be on the market, now we are maybe 4 years old. So in these 4 years, we did collect such a crazy amount already on feedback. We redesigned every square inch of the facilities several times over. So just because you could assume how your community will use the space. Then you get the data how they're using it and how you can optimize. And then after you optimized, you still think now it's better. No, it's better, but it's not perfect. Like again, we are right now in 4 years, we're 3 redesigns later.
Really listening to the users and kind of co-creating with the population of the city.
Looking how they're using, like again, so listening to the users. So it maybe like not everyone can articulate exactly what they need and how they need it, like the way they need it. But if you look precisely, very closely how they use it, then so basically it says way more than the words. So and I'm very kind of like attentive to every detail, and I'm just like my again for me it's a big fun. It's like it's kind of like to guess, just even find the right proportions between spaces, the perfect kind of synergetic kind of like kind of like assembly of different features, the proximity. It's
you're hooked.
It's a very interesting challenge.
Yeah, that's cool.